Hi there. From the 11th of September 2026 until the 8th of February 2027, Uranus, the planet of change, is going to be in retrograde motion in Gemini. So even when Uranus is in retrograde, he's still causing trouble. He's still, looking for things to change, looking for things to instigate, looking to bring in curveballs. I always kind of feel like Uranus is the planet that keeps us on our toes, keeps us guessing, keeps us wondering about what's going to come next and what's going on for us. So when Uranus is in retrograde in Gemini, we're all being asked, as we know with retrogrades, it's about going within and seeing what needs to be changed, reassessed, re-looked at within yourself as opposed to what's going on in your outside world. So this is all about, because Gemini rules the way that we think and communicate, this is all about reassessing the way that we think and our mental processes. So this is a very interesting thing to be aware of, and it's a really great opportunity for people because we tend to tell ourselves stories and live under these stories that we come up with in our own imaginations. And Gemini energy out of all the signs of the zodiac is probably the best or the worst of being able to take something, and if it doesn't know all the ingredients, or if it doesn't know all the intricacies or all the details of something, it just makes them up. Whatever fits in with the story, with the dialogue, that will do there. And we all do it. We all find things, for instance, you send somebody a text and they don't call you back. Invite them out somewhere and they don't answer you, and you create the story in your head. They don't like me anymore, they're off with somebody else, not interested in me anymore, they used to be my friend and now I've done something wrong, what have I done? All these silly stories that we tell ourselves. So when Uranus is retrograde in Gemini, it gives us an opportunity to look at all of those stories, all of those narratives that you live under, and the power that they have over you. Because as we know, if you keep telling yourself something, the same thing time and time again, you will believe it, because that's how it works. We keep reiterating, reconfirming things to ourselves, we will believe them. And so this is a really great opportunity to look at what things do you constantly tell yourself that aren't true, that don't have a positive purpose in your life, that keep you small, that keep you unstable, that keep you scared and worried about what's going to happen next, because you're creating these stories in your own head that aren't true. So Uranus and Gemini in retrograde gives us this opportunity to really, really look at that and to learn to be a lot more honest with ourselves. We don't need to tell ourselves stories to make ourselves feel better. And more often than not, the stories we tell each other ourselves aren't about feeling better. They usually end up making us feel worse about whatever we're going through, because they bring in some other drama, some other person, some other emotion that needs to be added into it to give it more flavor, give it more everything. And all it does at the end of the day is exhaust you and wear you out. And you could be using all of that energy, all of those thoughts, all of that momentum to create something really positive in your life. It's like, for instance, so often, if something's going to happen in our lives, the first thing we think is, what will happen if it goes wrong? We don't think, oh, wow, what will happen if it's really successful? So this is a really good opportunity for everybody to look at your thought processes, look at how you take a piece of information or a situation and what you turn it into, what truth you turn it into, or what dishonest lies you turn it into as well. So, looking at those mental processes, looking at the way that you communicate, and looking at how other ways that you can communicate as well. I really believe that this transit of Uranus through Gemini is going to create new ways for us to communicate. I believe that telepathy and those types of communication are going to become more and more easy for everybody, and more than what people do. In fact, I feel it's already starting. We're sort of already getting to feel into more what people are thinking and feeling, and being able to communicate along those lines with that type of energy as well. So, as we know, this is also the year of sovereignty. So, with this Uranus retrograde, is also an opportunity to make sure of your alignment. These stories, these fantasies, these things that you live in your own world within you, are they aligned with what you're doing and what you're putting out there? Or are you pretending? Are you putting out there something that you are not? Because if you are, it's not going to last for much longer. The energy of revelations and everything coming out at the moment is not going to allow dishonesty or people pretending to be what they're not to survive for too much longer. So it's a really great opportunity to get real with yourself. And lots of people out there need to get a lot more honest with themselves and what they're doing with their lives and what they're doing in general, because it must be aligned, or else it's just not going to work. It's like two things going like this. There's no continuity, there's no sustainability if it's no alignment. So enjoy this retrograde period. Have a good look at your thought processes and what you do to yourself in your own head, and see what you can do to repair that and make it a more positive thinking process and results process as well. And I'll be back to talk to you again soon. Bye.